Hey, ladies and gents, it's Zem from Strike Gaming again, and I'm doing the rear tank review on the T95 Chieftain, or Chieftain T95, whatever you want to put it. This was given out as one of the mini campaigns. This is one of the tier 8s they give out. They give IS-5 out. They gave the KV-4K, that abomination of, I don't even know what it is. I don't actually have that one. I kind of quit playing the competitive scene a while right before that campaign, so I didn't stick around for it. This was the last one I got in that bunch, which was the Chieftain T95. It's a premium tank, doesn't really make premium credits, but whatever. So what this was in the, it was a paper tank. What it was an attempt by the British to be able to change out turrets and guns with the United States. And which is interesting about this. Now, if you remember our review, the review I did on the T95 Tier 10, if you look at the turret, now this is the Chieftain's turret. What this was the 95's turret. If you remember in the other review that I did on this turret, was just a mock-up. It didn't actually really exist. So what they were going to do was take the T95's E6 turret. It was the heavy turret. They were going to take this turret and drop it, and you can, like I said, notice very, very similar turrets. And they were going to drop it onto the Chieftain whenever. Yep, see, very similar turrets. This was their attempt to use the similar gun with the 90 millimeter and turrets, and they were going to use it on a Chieftain hull. So that's where it came from. Kind of an odd mix. It was a hybrid, essentially, but this was actually planned, and of course it never came to actually being built. But that was the idea behind it, was to use American turrets and guns on Chieftain hulls. Problem was, people didn't really, the crews didn't really like to have to learn two different gunnery systems, so it was a failure. So that's the history behind it. So the actual tank in game is 240 average damage per second, 202 average pen, which is pretty light. But this is, like I said, an older premium tank. 8.76 rate of fire, 6.85 reload time, 10 degrees of gun depression, very nice. And what's nice about this tank, at the 2-second aiming time and 0.33 dispersion, it's still kind of and its average damage per minute is 2100, which is really low for a tier 8 premium. So you really got to work this tank to get anything out of it. It was probably intentionally made that way just to be that weak. 1400 hit points, 85 on the hull, and 50 on the side, 25 in the rear, 254 on the front. And this thing right here is so bouncy. And then the assholes at Wargaming, they put a fucking tumor on it. Which is penable by a tier 6. So nice job on that. Love the turret, awesome. But then they, like I said, they stick the cupola on it. 88 on the side, which is actually pretty well bounced. If you're sitting on the side of a hill a little bit, this bounces a lot of shells. And 50 on the rear. Mobilities, 50 tons, 750 brake horsepower, 14.9 ton to horsepower, 42 top speed, 44 traverse speed. So it's not really a medium necessarily, but if you played even any of the British mediums, this does not. It's not very much different. It's slow, relatively immobile, but that's what you get when you play, the Russian the British mediums. Of course you see that in the Mark One, which is odd because you go from the Cromwell, the Comet, to then you go to the Mark One, the Mark 7, and they're all just a little bit sluggish for being tier 10 or being mediums. Concealment, once again, blah. View range 409, 818 signal range. It is a handicap tank essentially. It doesn't perform anywhere close to most of the mediums in the game. Certainly not any of the premium mediums. This is something that was more of an oddity and given out for that reason. I usually, like I said, run typical events, rammers. The AP is, like I said, lacking about 202. The APCR still lacking at 238. I mean, there's premium mediums in game that have almost as good with regular APR as this thing does with APCR. So yeah, it does suffer a little bit from that, and I don't think, like I said, it was ever built or put into the game to be anything more than just an odd tank. So I do have one game into it, and this was actually the Ace tank. I actually played this. I hadn't played this in a couple, probably well over a year, and I brought it out, and I just jumped in for probably I think it was my second game I got in it, and I ended up with a pretty nice game in it. This was the Confederate Ace Tanker. It was a Tier 10 match, 3404 and almost 1400 spotting. So it did perform pretty well. And this was actually being on Sand River, and we were defending, so it worked well on that map. So I'll be bringing up the game review right now. If you do see one of these things in game, don't be terribly worried, because it's really weak for a Tier 8 premium. But it's one of them oddities, and you don't very rarely ever see them actually get played. So I'll be bringing up the gameplay right now. All right, fellas, we are back with the gameplay on the Chieftain T95, and this is one of those. I love this side of the map when we're playing defense on this. If you pretty much own that center valley or sand, whatever you want to call it, you have a pretty good chance of winning this game. And like a medium, I'm not going to dick around playing sniper, and this does have a pretty decent gun for that. Obviously, with a 90mm, you have better than average chance of hitting something. But pen is crap, and you'll see me blow a little bit of gold in this just to make sure I pen on some of these shots. But this being I think it was 115,000. I still walked away with almost 70K in profit, even after spamming some premium shells with it. So move up here. The 90mm not too bad, even on the move. Nail the 49. Our 49 goes full retard. He just lost almost all of his health on that move. I'm not sure if he lost connection or what, but apparently he's not happy with himself. So get up into this nice position here, and which works really nice for this tank, especially with this 10 degrees of gun depression and a fairly nice hull. Pull up, catch the Leo out and open. I was aiming for his track idler, but I couldn't quite get down on it, and I don't really want to stick myself up too far. Just keeping things lit here. That's kind of what I was hoping what the T49 was going to be doing. And this is kind of, this game is always kind of slow, this game mode, just because of the what you got to do with it. They're attacking, and it's in some pretty well prepared positions. It's going to get a little tactic here and a little bit of it's going to get interesting here in a little bit. Got the 49 still sitting here. There is no artillery, so that makes it a little bit easier for everything. Puts in the shell onto him. 8.8, still sitting back there like a bitch. But yeah, you know what? Why would you move up? Let's just play sniper, because you have nothing better to do. God, I get so upset when I play this mode, and we got guys that are still sitting on the 0 line and the 5-6 line. They have nothing to shoot, and they're not moved up into position to actually shoot nothing, but they just hang out there the whole game. You're just like, well, what the fuck are you going to do? Right? Push up, get the 49 spotted again, and now I notice the massive blob of red that's currently pushing down the 0 line. We got a mouse over here, and he's holding strong. He's got T30, a Type 4, and another Moss pushing up on him, and shortly a Tort moving in as well. I would really like to knock out this 49, and you'll know most of this. So you've noticed most of this game. We got an E5, a 34B, and a Type 4 heavy. They're sniping like a bunch of badasses over there against stuff that really isn't that great to shoot at. That's about the time I noticed the 48 Patton. He's kind of hanging out here with me. Leo's up on top. I got a 54 Mod 1 down here, and we really would have been nice if we would have had at least a couple. Oh, we got 2 Type 4 heavies in the back. I'm sorry. Maybe if one of them would have been down here, it might have been just a little bit different story here. Gets me still at 706 damage, got 86 spotted, and this is about the time it's going to start to get kind of interesting down here in the bottom. Pop back up on this, see if I can find the T49. Can't quite get down. He runs, which is good because he gets a little bit too far out, gets scared away, and he's going to get wrecked. 8.8 still up on the hill, sniping away. Actually, I'm sorry, I think it's the RHM by now. And that's about the time I noticed that, yeah, we're going to have to do something with this. Got a T30 pushing around here on the Moss. Type 4 Heavies pushing over too. And we also got a 34 and an IS-3. They're getting really brave here. 48 patents hanging out, as well as the 54 Mod 1. And we got a Leo, Tort, T34, IS-3, and Louvet. We got a push on our hands here, boys. He comes around the bottom down here. Looking. Didn't get a shot in on him. IS-3's right here. Try to get a shot down on him, but I hit the, ground. Waiting for here to see if I can get a shot on the Leo. Leo moves around, pushes, get a shot on him. They finish off the 48 patent, and this is looking like a absolute shit show right here. I got the Louvet, the IS-3, the Tort, the Leopard 1. That's about the time my Tort actually kind of notices what the fuck's going on here. Moves up, and I'm going to get a little bit of support here. Type 4 Heavy's still sniping because, that's what you do. Got up to 1100 damage, 1100 spotted. Still have the Tort here. He's looking. Short Spanzer moves over. He's got the idea. He's going to give him a little bit of a flank here. Tort with the snapshot. Gotta love that 120 millimeter. The Louvet moves down, and my Tort is finally moving up. Type 4 is still fucking oblivious. He's still watching over there for that Panther 8.8 that might show up. Push around, put the shot in the Louvet. IS-3's kind of not paying attention. He gets a little bit. Every once in a while, he kind of notices that I'm sitting here, and he actually does eventually get a shot into me. But Tort moves up, pushes in, kills him. Puts us in here with a 34. 34 is working over the Tort, and I back up a little bit, trying to get a shot on that, and I get overmatched there by the IS-3 on the rear deck. By return to favor, I was trying to help out with our Moss over there with that other Moss that's pushing, but he's pretty much doing a real nice job all by himself. So, hit the IS-3, track him, and that's when about that time the T49 makes a epically nice YOLO on me, and takes 374 of my health. Leaves me 36 hit points, still about 2300 damage, 1231 spotted. And this is the time where you cannot bounce shots. And you've noticed me here, I've actually moved up. 54 lightweight moves up. Thank you, sir. Knocks out the 49, and then about that time I noticed the Panther 8.8 decides he's going to get ballsy. He's played the sniper role most of the game. Unfortunately for him, it doesn't really work out very well because he's going to get wrecked here. 54 moves over onto the IS-3 moves over. Get the nice shot into him. 34s get braves too. It's funny how everybody gets brave right here toward the end. Pull a nice shot into him. Puts me at 2500, 1371 spotting. And we finally got the game in hand. Pick back up, switch back to regular rounds, and that's about the time they spot the RHM sitting up here. Nice 10 degrees of gun depression. And you notice how much this tank struggles with hills. The power to weight ratio is terrible on this thing. It does make up a little bit with its gun and stuff, but not much. Get a nice shot in on him. Puts me up about 3K, 1371 spotting. Got the Rhine medal and the Rev off on the far side. And this Redif hasn't moved all game. He's still sitting on the 0 line. 4400 still sitting on the 0 in the back. Yeah, if you're gonna win this map, you can't play it too soft. You're gonna lose pretty much every time. So I'm moving up. I want to get that Rev spotted for my teammates. I got the Moss FV 44005 sitting there, and I'm kind of being a little bit here. I got 36 hit points. He just got to dust me with an HE shell. Pull up, Still looking. RHM. Yeah, where are you, buddy? Where are you? And still out. There he goes. Finally popped. He's looking the other direction. Put a nice shell into him. And waiting, waiting, waiting. Put another nice shell into him. Tracked him at that time. 3,400 damage. 1,400 spotting. So yeah, it was a nice game for the 95 Chieftain, ace tanker. And if you ever decide to get into this kind of competitive thing, don't pick this tank. Get the IS-5. I mean, honestly, I love the tank. I play it all the time when I used to play it. But you know, after a while, you get used to just being even the low ball tier 8. You're the weakest of the tier 8s. So yeah, it makes for an interesting tank. It looks pretty cool, but you know, hey, whatever you gotta do, you gotta do. So I hope you guys enjoyed the review, and I will be having a couple more rare tanks to do. Not a lot, but if you guys ever want to see a review on a certain tank, you know, just let me know. And I have just creeping up on 400 tanks in my garage now. So if you want to see something, just let me know. All right, see you guys. Have a good night.